Hi everyone, Happy New Year again. I'm glad to start 2024 with you guys in a new year where hopefully lots of you will find peace, happiness, healing, friends, family, joy, love, everything that I can possibly wish for you. Before I start the topic of this video, I wanted to ask the people that are watching that are pretty much recovered or kind of like getting out of their recovery, if you please want to comment suggestions for the new series that I will start of after recovery videos, because I think a lot of my videos have been based around DPDR recovery and anxiety, which of course I will continue to do because I know that that's what you guys need from me. But I also want to start a new series for people that have recovered, talking about mindfulness, mental health, like focus goals for the future, things like that, or whatever basically you'd like me to talk about or you'd like me to make videos on. So if you're watching and you're interested in hearing other topics from me, or you're kind of like, okay, what's this next step for me, please send some comments or send some questions or topics in the comment section, and I'll be happy to discuss those. I'll also be putting up a little bit of a question on Instagram where you guys can answer that question for me. So I would really appreciate that. And so today I was thinking, I have like a little list of topics that I always think about that I would like to address in a YouTube video. And a topic that came to mind recently, I forgot why or how it came up, was that I was kind of reflecting on the things that I was doing that was helping me the most personally when I was going through my DPDR and existential crisis. And I kind of realized that I had such a rigid morning structured routine that I was doing every single day that helped me so much. And I kind of never really shared it. I've shared like bits and bobs here, and I've shared about morning routines in general, but I've never really kind of like taken you guys step by step through the morning routine I had when I was like in the midst of my deepest suffering, basically. So I want to explain to you guys, first of all, why this is so important and why I think this was one of the key elements in my recovery journey, to have a very structured morning routine. Is because I've said this before, your brain is kind of like a computer. And the way you program your computer first thing in the morning is the way the computer is going to run your day. And if you program your computer in the beginning of the day with very bad thoughts, very bad focus, very bad habits, lack of sleep, lack of motivation, lack of any positivity at all, then that's kind of going to be the program that's going to run your day. And we don't really want that, especially not when we're struggling. And so when you program your brain computer as best as possible first thing in the morning, the chances are a lot bigger that you'll have a better day than if you end up just kind of waking up, scrolling on your phone, staying in bed, and then like just seeing how you feel and letting that feeling dictate your day. A lot about reprogramming your current state is about acting against how you're feeling. And if we wake up and we feel absolutely dreaded and awful, and we then act from those feelings, we're gonna sustain them. We're gonna keep that pattern going. So what I did first thing in the morning was I really had this kind of like, I would say, three-step routine, pretty much, that I did every single day, no matter how I woke up, no matter how bad I was feeling. And it was like my anchor point in that time. And so I'll talk you guys through it a little bit and share why each step was so important for me. So I would wake up well slept, first of all. I know some of you guys struggle with sleep, so don't emphasize this too much, because stressing too much about this will make you sleep worse. But if you're not sleeping because you're not making a priority, please 100% make it a priority. Your brain needs sleep to rest, to digest, to freshen up, to become healthier again. So get your 8 hours of sleep, 7 hours, between 7 and 8 hours of sleep. So be in bed for 8 hours long minimum. So I'd wake up pretty early in the morning, and the first thing I would do is I would get out of bed, I would drink a glass of water, I would not give my mind too much thought at all, because if I would do that, it would very quickly start spiraling again. But I usually would wake up with a dreadful feeling in my stomach. And my Bible at the time, which wasn't literally a Bible, but for me it was a podcast called Oprah Super Soul Conversations that I discovered somewhere in that journey. I was desperately looking for something to guide me or give me peace. And I found this podcast, and it was like, oh, it was everything for me. So I would put on my running shoes, put on my running clothes, and I would go for an hour run every single day, which now seems quite intense, but at the time I just like needed it so much to start my day outside with exercise in nature while listening to one of Oprah's Super Soul Conversation episodes. Now, if you're not a runner, don't force your body to like completely exhaust itself. That's not good for you. Maybe do like a 10-minute jog and then the rest of the hour make it a walk or something, or kind of do running, walking, or you just go for a long walk. You know, to be honest, it doesn't matter too much. But for me, it was going outside first thing in the morning, even on days where it triggered me, going on that walk, listening to a podcast that was uplifting, positive, healing, mindful. There was like basically what this podcast is. It's Oprah, of course, and she invites all these spiritual teachers and like psychologists and doctors and even priests and like people working for different types of churches and Buddhism. All these spiritual teachers she invites to talk, writers as well, like Elizabeth Gilbert, for example, and they talk about different topics of life. And it's never like toxic positivity where it's like only positivity, but it was kind of like the whole message of that podcast for me became struggle is good. It's good to struggle. Struggle is necessary to then get to a different point in your life. And that was something that podcast showed me, because every guest that came on was so positive, went through so much, but had kind of turned that into something beautiful. And as like what started to happen as I was listening to these podcasts every single morning was part of my DPDR and my dread was coming from a core belief that I had that there was something very dark and wrong about life. And so that's why I would dissociate from it. And the more I started listening to these podcast episodes, the more I actually started to change my mind about life, because what they talked about wasn't that everything's all rose petals and moonshine, but that even in the darkness, there is something to be found that's deep and meaningful, and that the universe is with us. And that's kind of the message I started to feel through listening to these podcasts. Now, if you don't believe that that's true right now, I was exactly where you are. I was exactly the pessimist that you are probably right now. So there's nothing you could do wrong really with giving it a chance. And it was so good for me. So I would come back after an hour run. I would be tired. I'd have endorphins, the chemicals that your brain releases when you exercise that make you more happy. So even if I was still feeling dreaded, at least I was feeling a bit like more, I like better in my skin, or I was feeling the endorphins from the workout, which did something good for me. And I had something from that podcast to focus on. So every podcast would give me some little thing that I would kind of take as that little red thread throughout my day, and I would just focus on. And so that was the first part of the routine. The second part was obviously, I guess, like showering, washing myself, brushing my teeth. I know that sometimes the basic things feel impossible right now, but trust me, if you take care of your body, if you take care of your health a little bit, you eat healthy, you drink water, these are things, they're not going to make you 100% recover, but they might take you from feeling like a 0 out of 10 to like a 0.5 out of 10. So you can't do much wrong with it. And then the third part of my morning routine, which I guess you guys can see it coming, was meditation. And the meditation that I used to do every single day is actually one that is on my YouTube channel. It's, I think, the most popular meditation that I have on there. It's called the Easy Meditation for DPDR Recovery or something. If you just click on my page, you can see it as like one of the first videos of the popular videos. And so I used to do that every single day. Not just that, I do other meditations as well. I do mindfulness meditation, I do visualization meditation, but I would often, very often of the time, just sit there and actually feel my feelings, actually be with them, not run away from them, open up to them, make space for them, cry if I had to, console the feelings that I was feeling if I had to. But honestly, this was, yeah, something that always brought me relief. And I know that the acceptance is for so many people the big like topic. How do you accept? And to be honest, if you are asking that question, it's probably because you don't really want to accept, and that's okay. Some people need time to get ready for that step, so give yourself time. But the best thing that meditation did for me was actually kind of, I don't know if that's the right word. I was going to say compartmentalize. So see the anxiety part as separate from me and actually treat it in a different way, instead of like being in the anxiety and in the thoughts. And that's where meditation and mindfulness was huge for me. But that was pretty much my morning routine every single day. The being outside also, it had a huge impact on me. I was getting vitamin D first thing in the morning. That was good. It's also summertime, so that made it easier to go outside. But even in the winter, I'd recommend you to really try. And even if it scares you, like, see it as exposure. But yeah, I'm thinking if there's something I should add to this. I don't want to make it too long or too complicated, because to be honest, I think that that's really what was it for me. And after that, I would just get on with my day, study, work, whatever I had to do, and just almost like also give myself permission to like let the whole recovery thing go after my morning routine, because in the morning I was like really focusing on it. But then the rest of the day, sometimes in the afternoon, I'd meditate again. But I would also like really focus on the tasks that I had to do that day and not get too obsessed. So this was the video for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you gained something from this. And I very much look forward to seeing you next week. And please don't forget about the comments. I'd really appreciate that. So have a beautiful weekend, and I'll see you soon.